Well, folks, it's that time of year again, isn't it? The decorations are up, the tree is down, I have cats, and Michael Bublé has officially emerged from his chrysalis. And that can only mean one thing: it's almost time for the return of Doctor Who and Christmas. Chiefly that. But if you grew up in the wonderful, mystical and magical world that is England, your Christmas parlance might be a tad different from that of my current compatriots, the Americans. You see, when the Pilgrims set sail all those centuries ago, they neglected to take with them one very crucial artifact: a pocketbook of British Christmas phrases. Actually, I've just realised that most of those terms didn't exist back then. Never mind, just go with it and pretend that I am Santa Claus himself, here to pick up the slack for those plucky Mayflower adventurers. And speaking of Santa Claus, that brings me very neatly onto our first entry. You see, in Britain, we love ourselves a good nickname. So David Beckham is Bex, Prince William is Wills, and Lawrence Brown is... I'm not reading that. Well, portly, bearded drunkards are no exception, and that's why Santa Claus, paternal sage that he is, goes by the name of Father Christmas in Britain. But that's only part of the story. You see, historically, Santa and Father Christmas were not in fact one and the same. In fact, in the 17th century, Father Christmas burst onto the scene much like Bruce Willis in Die Hard as the true personification of Christmas. Later, this depiction would merge with representation of gift givers such as St. Nicholas to form what the Americans adopted as Santa Claus, itself an alternate pronunciation of the Dutch name Sinterklaas, which is also a cheap knockoff of St. Nicholas. It's all confusing. The point is, Father Christmas is our name for Santa and is a virtually unknown entity in America. It's almost as if he is two different people, especially given that each of them resides at a different address. That's right, Americans believe that Santa, who also goes by the name of Kris Kringle, Old St. Nick and Tim Allen, lives in the North Pole, but to the British he will always hail from the northernmost region of Finland, a place called Lapland. In either case, we're talking about some pretty uninhabitable parts of the world. I mean, I suppose that helps him stay anonymous, right? Can you imagine if Santa lived in Cleveland? He'd never get any flipping work done, right? Okay, elves, Timmy from Wisconsin wants a Ghostbusters fire station for Christmas. It's still 1987 in Cleveland, apparently. I need you on the assembly line this instant.
But Santa, the Browns are playing. It's the big game. Most of the elves have gone to Benny's.
What?
Couldn't we just give Timmy another Egon Spengler toy? He has a switch on his back that makes his head spin round and round.
Funny, I don't remember our Egon Spengler toys having such a switch.
I was talking about Timmy.
Oh! Wait, that's not funny. You're fired. So sorry about all of that. Okay, remember a minute ago when I said that the British assign nicknames to everything? Well, even Christmas isn't sacred. I mean, well, it is obviously very sacred, but what I mean is the British are prone to shortening the very term Christmas to, are you ready for this? Crimbo. What? Weird, isn't it? Now, I've no idea why we do this. It's probably a Scouser thing, but either way, we do it. We even sometimes shorten it to Crimble, which is definitely a Scouser thing because that term was coined by John Lennon, and no, I'm not kidding. So, an example of Crimbo might be the following.
Dear Timmy in Wisconsin, you will not be getting a Ghostbusters fire station this year because Santa hates you. Merry Crimbo. Signed, an unemployed elf.
Actually though, now that I think about it, we the British don't always begin our salutations with the word merry. And that's because it's rather common in Britain to hear the phrase Happy Christmas, a phrase that failed to catch on in America, even despite the fact that it was popularised on this side of the pond by John Lennon. Well, imagine that. Of course, nobody told me that Happy Christmas would be met with such incredulity by my American neighbours. So, just like starting over, I've come up with a compromise. Happy vacations. Get it? The word for vacation in England is holiday, and some Americans use the catch-all term happy holidays. It needs work. It needs work. Personally though, I don't care whether you say Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas. Whatever gets you through the night, right? After all, Christmas is just another day in the life. I'll stop with the John Lennon puns now. Okay, one more. Christmas is just another day in the life of a British expat in America. If only the same could be said of our final entry. Boxing Day is arguably the greatest of all the holidays. The excesses of Christmas Day are behind you. The wrapping paper has been thrown away, the snow has melted, and you finally get to enjoy playing with your Ghostbusters fire station. I mean, I do. Some aren't so lucky. But December the 26th is a day to kick your feet up, drink all of the beers, and watch football until you fall asleep and drool on the dog. That said, the phrase Boxing Day is usually met with rearguard suspicion by the Americans who hear it, so to be clear, Boxing Day is a public holiday celebrated in not just the UK, but Commonwealth countries such as New Zealand, Australia, and Canada. Yes, Canada! And perhaps the biggest question on everybody's lips is, where does the name Boxing Day come from? Well, do I have an answer for you? No, actually I don't. I do know that sadly it has precisely zero to do with boxing the sport, though after 10 minutes in the company of your Uncle Jimmy you'd rather wish it was. One guess is that it was a day for employers to give Christmas boxes to their lesser paid employees, or even servants. Either way, one thing's for sure, as the hours tick away and the whiskey passive-aggressively introduces itself to your liver, the magical cycle of life continues, as Michael Bublé, himself a Canadian, reverts to the egg phase. Happy Christmas, everybody.